There are 250 million children who cannot read and who are not basic numerate. The UN estimates that 17 million teachers would need to be trained for sub-Saharan Africa alone by 2030, and worldwide it's 69 million. This is a photo I took in Malawi. It's a classroom. The average class in Malawi has more than 100 students, and we have seen many classes with more than 250 students. So this is quite challenging, and our traditional models cannot scale fast enough to meet that demand. We cannot build enough schools and train enough teachers fast enough. At Onebillion, we believe that education technology can offer a solution to this crisis if it offers the right content. And that's what we do. We develop software. We focus on basic numeracy and literacy, learning to read in the child's own language. And we don't assume that the child will have adult help, because very often they do not have that. So our software is designed to work for children on their own. The software is called OneCourse, and it consists of a lot of short learning units, one of which you can see on the screen. And I'm now going to show you a few more examples. Touch-based technology is amazing because it's very intuitive. So even children who have never used a smartphone or a tablet before are able to use the gestures they need within minutes, so they can get going. This little perfectionist here in Tanzania is practicing to trace the letter A, and it's early on in the course. So they get introduced to letter sounds and then letter names, and they learn how to trace letters. This little girl in Malawi, she is already further ahead. This, you can see on the screen, it's a story from later on in the course. We have about 100 stories at the moment, and we're expanding our library to have stories for all levels. And the software also offers different modes, so the children can get different types of help according to their level and depending what they need. So while you watch the video, watch out for how this little girl gets help in the software. So there's a lot of audio help, which is recorded with mother tongue speakers, in this case from Malawi. And these two little girls are in Zanzibar, and they're working on an early numeracy unit on making patterns, which is a precursor for more complicated numeracy concepts they will meet later on in the course. So our software consists of thousands of these short learning units. We work with linguistic and pedagogy experts to make sure we get it right, and it's a structured course that is very comprehensive across 10 levels, building in complexity and in difficulty for both numeracy and literacy. If you watch here, you can see that on every screen there is something different. Every child is learning at their own pace. These children are all learning in Chichewa, but because of the structure of our course, we can actually easily adapt the course into other languages as well. Our numeracy material is already available in 50 languages, and for the learning to read literacy software, we are currently working on English, Chichewa, and Swahili, but we plan for many more languages. So watch the children. They get feedback, they get praise when they have achieved something, they get help when they need it. There's, for example, a repeat audio button that you can see in the top right corner of the screen that they know to press when they haven't quite got the instructions and need to hear them again. So there are lots of different little tools in the software that enable the child to work on their own. Now, we have worked on this software for many years. We have tried different approaches, we have failed fast and iterated what we did. And the most important question that everyone in education technology has to ask themselves is, does it work? Does it actually deliver learning outcomes for the children? And as an organization, we're completely committed to that. So we are working with independent universities to evaluate the efficacy of the software, to find out if there's something we need to change, if it works, and how well it works, to see if there are significant gains. And in fact, we have, a few years ago, there was a randomized control trial in Malawi and in the UK, and in both countries we had the same results for numeracy. 1 week of working with the software for 30 minutes a day led to 3 months of formal education. And the UK study also looked at differences between girls and boys, for example, or any cause of or impact of social background, and there was none. Any child was able to progress, and those children with lower memory skills, they were actually able to catch up compared to their peers because they were benefiting from that immediate feedback in the apps. And in a few weeks, we will get results for reading, for the literacy software, which has been evaluated in a randomized control trial in Malawi over the past months, and we're very, very nervous and very excited to find out what it brings. We will receive the peer-reviewed reports in a few weeks. Now, the best software doesn't help much if it's not in the hands of the children. And we're a very small nonprofit based in London, but we're all about big impact. So we're not called Onebillion for nothing. We're actually quite serious about reaching and transforming the learning of 1 billion children. And to do that, we not only develop the software, but we also design pilot projects, innovative solutions that address the challenges in different contexts. So when we find that a pilot is effective, we partner up with big organizations, with governments and donors to scale it. And that's what we did in Malawi. So 4 years ago, we did a pilot in a primary school in Malawi's capital, Lilongwe. 300 children were working with our apps. And then because it was effective, we partnered up with many organizations. The minister actually mentioned that this trial, the Scottish government has been extremely helpful and very important in the process. So in the hands of our partners, this initial pilot has scaled to an initiative that's rolled out nationwide. And our implementation partner, VSO, together with the Malawi Ministry of Education, international donors, and also private companies, they're making sure that by the end of this year, 50,000 children will be working with our software every week. And it won't stop there, because the Ministry of Education has recently decided that unlocking talent, that's what the initiative is called, will be part of the formal education system. And they will be building capacity within the ministry to roll it out and sustain it in all 5,300 primary schools across the country. So let's have a look what it looks like for the children to be part of Unlocking Talent. What you can see here is a solar-powered learning center. We call it a one class. The children attend half-hour sessions in this learning center that is equipped with a set of tablets. So the tablets are actually used by quite a lot of children. And the progress is tracked. Sorry. There's a little server to store the progress, and each child is registered. So when they start a session, they can just tap on the photo and then pick up where they left off the previous session. And then they continue, off they go, they learn, each at their own pace, and they progress through their learning journey. Now, if you compare that photo to the photo of the classroom I showed you in the beginning, it's quite a difference. The children are not distracted. They're not passive. They're not distracted even though there is a stranger taking a photo of them. They're completely transfixed on the screens. What we also do is we have remote monitoring. So it's important that the learning center works standalone because sometimes there is no internet connection, so it works online. But we have a cloud-based server that crunches through the children's data every day, and this gives very precious information. The ministry knows if a school is closed, which sounds like it wouldn't happen very often, but it does actually happen a lot that a school closes at the drop of a hat. We also have information on how long the learning centers are open, how many children are attending, and we send SMS to the teachers to tell them which children are struggling and which ones are excelling, so they can give their attention to help those who need it, and also to give personal praise to the children who are doing really well, to encourage them. Now this has been all about Malawi, but there is also growing interest from other countries in this initiative, Unlocking Talent. In South Africa, for example, the Department for Rural Development has partnered up with iSchool Africa, and they're using our software under the umbrella of Unlocking Talent, but in a slightly different way, because in South Africa they actually have electricity. They don't need solar-powered learning centers. And they're using the apps to help older children transition from learning in Afrikaans to learning in English. And also they help older children to catch up on some basic concepts they didn't quite get, and then they need more practice with. So I would like to show you quickly another pilot that we've worked on. This one is at the prototype stage. We have designed a portable solar projector that's quite compact. It has a tablet that connects to an Apple TV wirelessly. It has amplified speakers, a very bright LED projector, and it can be used in classrooms and in different community settings. Here are a few examples of Malawi and Uganda and India. These were just small trials we did, and the design is now available under a Creative Commons license. So I've talked about reaching children in classrooms, but there are very many children out there who do not go to school at all. So how can we reach them? Onebillion is one of the teams competing for the Global Learning X Prize. And this competition is all about reaching those children, allowing them to learn even if they have no access to school. In a few weeks, we will find out if, so 38 teams submitted their entry, their software solutions to teach children to read and math from scratch. And in a few weeks, we will know if we made it to the finals, basically. If we are one of the 5 finalists, then the software will become open source, and it will be rigorously trialed in a field test in Tanzania over 15 months to see which of the finalist solutions actually delivers the best learning outcomes. According to the UNESCO, there will be 1 billion children in Africa by mid-century. When we talk about changing the world, we need to bear in mind that it's them who will be able to change the world if they get the skills they need. And this girl is called Aisha. She was one of the students in the initial trial in Malawi. And when you ask her what she wants to be when she's grown up, she will say she wants to be a president. That's what she told me. And it's great to see those aspirations in children. And we need to make sure they get the skills to grow up and then shape the world. And we really believe that if we can get the content right, education technology can achieve this. Thank you.